Good day everyone. Today nasa Module 3 na tayo ng Technology for Teaching and Learning. Before we proceed all out as a techie person, Lesson 1 takes us back to the basics, the development and use of non-digital or conventional materials. Kasi let's face it, kahit gaano ka high-tech ang lesson plan mo, paano na lang kapag biglang nag-brown out? Ano ang gagawin mo? Bakit nga ba natin pinag-aaralan ang non-digital materials sa isang technology course? Simple lang, conventional materials ay yung mga gamit na hindi nangangailangan ng electricity, Meralco, o ng mabilis na internet o wifi. Very reliable sila, bridging the gap into between abstract concepts and concrete understanding. Plus, para sa mga kinesthetic learners natin, iba pa rin yung may nahawakan silang actual object. Hindi puro lang swipe or click. Let's look at some classics. First is realia, meaning real-life objects. Kung nagtuturo ka ng pera sa math, magdala ka ng totoong coins. Kung nagtuturo ka ng types of rocks, magpasa ka ng totoong bato sa klase. O basta palalahanan lang na bawal ipukpok sa katabi yung bato, baka magkaroon ng violation. Next is diorama. Ito yung mga 3D miniature settings na madalas ginagawa sa loob ng shoebox. Aminin natin, minsan ang mga magulang ang nagpupuyat para gawin ito. Pero it's highly effective for spatial visualization. Ang next naman na tools for practice, flashcards are perfect para sa mabilisang recitation. Yung tipong kabado 20 ang mga students habang nagme-memorize ng vocabulary. And of course, the ultimate Pinoy teacher combination, ang Manila paper at pentel pen. Sa ibang bansa, flip charts ang tawag nila dyan. Ito ang the best for live brainstorming, group reporting at pag-outline ng mga ideas kung saan amoy pa lang ng marker, alam mo nang may group activity. Hindi mawawala ang chalkboard at whiteboard. Ito ang takbuhan natin for spontaneous explanations at pag-solve ng math problems sa harap. Then we have models and mock-ups. Ang model ay yung replica ng buong object, parang yung skeleton sa science lab na madalas pinapangalanan ng mga student na Scully. Ang mock-up naman nakafocus lang sa isang part na gumagalaw o nag-function para makita talaga ng bata kung paano siya nagwo-work sa loob. Pag gumagawa tayo ng sarili nating instructional materials o IMs, remember these principles. Number 1, simplicity. Huwag lagyan ng masyadong maraming design na nakaka-distract. Hindi po ito perya na dapat focus lang sa lesson. Visibility. Dapat malaki ang font para kita ng mga nakaupo sa likod. Hindi lang ng mga nasa first row. Number 3, durability. I-plastic cover or balutan ng scotch tape. Alam nyo naman ang mga bata, minsan isang hawak lang. Lasog-lasog na yung mga instructional materials mo. Number 4, interactivity. Make it hands-on. At higit sa lahat, number 5, relevance. Dapat swak sa learning objective at sa edad ng mga estudyante mo. To summarize, ano nga ba ang pros and cons? Ang pinakamalaking advantage ng conventional materials, walang loading time at hindi naglalag. Very cost-effective pa. Pero may limitations din. Mahirap siyang i-store at minsan hassle bitbitin sa jeep o tricycle pa uwi. Plus, physical materials wear out over time at wala silang dynamic features like sounds and animations. Ang mga digital tools, they can provide that one. That's why the best teachers know how to mix these digital materials and conventional materials. In conclusion, hindi porket traditional ay baduy na. These non-digital tools build a strong foundation for hands-on learning, making your future tech integration much better. Okay, let's proceed to a short 10-item multiple choice quiz. You can pause this video if you want to have more time for each question. Write your answer on a piece of paper, and after the questions, we will reveal the answers. Question number 1. Ano ang pinaka-best description ng conventional or non-digital materials? Letter A, mga gamit sa classroom na kailangan laging nakaplug sa Meralco. Letter B, tools na hindi kailangan ng kuryente o Wi-Fi para magamit. Letter C, mga expensive gadgets na binili pa sa ibang bansa. Or letter D, apps na ida-download sa tablet ng mga bata. Number 2, nagtuturo ka about different types of leaves sa science. Para mas magets ng klase, namitas ka ng totoong dahon sa labas at ipinasa sa mga students. Ano ang tawag sa ginamit mo? Letter A, diorama. Letter B, mock-up. Letter C, realia. Letter D, magic. Number 3, pinagawa mo ang mga students ng 3D replica ng ocean habitat sa loob ng shoebox. Ano ito? Letter A, flip chart. Letter B, model. Letter C, flashcard. Or letter D, diorama. Question number 4. Ano ang tinaguriang Ultimate Pinoy Teacher Combo na perfect for live brainstorming at group reporting kung walang projector sa classroom? Letter A, Manila paper at amoy gasolinang pentel pen. Letter B, chalk at basang-basahan. Letter C, laptop at sangkatutak na adapters. Or letter D, flashcards at pito. Question number 5. Gusto mong ipakita kung paano gumagalaw ang lungs pag humihinga, kaya gumawa ka ng specific tool na nagpapakita lang ng breathing mechanism, ignoring the rest of the body parts. Ano ang tawag dito? Letter A, realia. Letter B, model. Letter C, mock-up. Or letter D, whiteboard. Question number 6. Gumawa ka ng visual aid pero sobrang liit ng sulat mo. Sabi ng student sa likod, Chair, di ko po mabasa. Anong principle ng I am development ang na-violate mo? Letter A, simplicity. Letter B, durability. Letter C, relevance. Or letter D, visibility. Question number 7. Bakit ugali ng mga teachers na balutan ng makapal na scotch tape o i-plastic cover ang kanilang mga printed flashcards? Para saan ang principle na ito? Letter A, interactivity, para madulas hawakan. Letter B, durability, para iwas lasog at pwede pang gamitin next year. Letter C, simplicity, para aesthetic. Or letter D, visibility, para kumintab. Number 8, nilagyan mo ng glitters, feathers, at neon stickers ang math chart mo. Ang ending, sa glitters na nakatingin ang mga bata at hindi na sa mga numbers. Anong principle ang nakalimutan mo? Letter A, simplicity. Letter B, relevance. Letter C, durability. Or letter D, interactivity. Question number 9. Biglang nag-brown out habang nagkaklase ka. Chill ka lang kasi may dala kang conventional instructional materials. Ano ang pinakamalaking advantage ng mga tools na ito? Letter A, may sarili silang background music. Letter B, pwedeng isave sa USB. Letter C, ligtas sa power interruptions at always reliable. Or letter D, nag-auto-check sila ng quizzes. Question number 10. Ano naman ang isa sa mga main limitations o hassle ng non-digital materials pag uwian na? Letter A, bigla na lang nagka-crash ang system. Letter B, ubos agad ang battery. Letter C, kailangan ng password para mabuksan. Or letter D, hassle bitbitin sa jeep o tricycle dahil bulky at malaki. Alright, tapos na ba lahat? Let's ready. Magche-check na tayo ng ating mga answers. Number 1 is letter B. Tools na hindi na kailangan ng kuryente or Wi-Fi. Number 2, letter C. Realia. Number 3, that is letter D. Diorama. Number 4, that is letter A. Manila paper at pentel pen. For number 5, it's letter C. Mock-up. Number 6 is letter D. Visibility. Number 7 is letter B. Durability. Number 8, letter A. Simplicity. Number 9, letter C. Ligtas sa mga power interruptions. And number 10, letter D, kasi hassle bitbitin. Sa panahon ngayon, madaling isipin ang pinakamagaling na teacher ay yung may pinakamagandang PowerPoint presentation, may pinakamabilis na Wi-Fi, at may pinaka-high-tech na tablet sa loob ng classroom. Nakakabilib naman talaga ang digital tools. They make information accessible with just a click, and they can transport students to different parts of the world through a screen. Pero bilang mga future educators, kailangan nating tanungin ang sarili natin. Paano kung biglang mag-brown out or mawalan ng mga ganitong mga technology? Paano kung walang signal? Titigil ba ang pagtuturo? Titigil ba ang pagkatuto ng mga estudyante? Dito pumapasok ang tunay na galing ng isang guro. Ang pagtuturo ay hindi nakadepende sa kuryente. Nakadepende ito sa koneksyon mo sa mga estudyante at sa pagiging malikhain mo. Conventional or non-digital materials like flashcards, realia, chalkboards, and the trusty Manila paper are not just backup plans. Sila ang foundation ng hands-on, tactile learning. Kapag ipinahawak mo sa bata ang isang totoong bato sa science class, o pinasulat mo sila ng isang ideas sa kanilang mga flip chart or Manila paper, binibigyan mo sila ng physical experience na hindi kayang tapatan ng kahit anong iPad screen. The best technology in the classroom is not the smart board. It is the teacher. Digital tools are fantastic for enhancing a lesson, but conventional materials keep you grounded. Tinuturuan tayo ng mga non-digital tools na maging maparaan, maging simple, at mag-focus sa pinaka-importante, ang mismong learning objective. Sa huli, hindi maalala ng mga estudyante mo kung kaano ka-aesthetic ang mga Canva slides mo. Maalala nila kung paano mo ginawang lively or buhay, interactive at totoo ang lesson ninyo. May kuryente man o wala. Let's proceed to our post activity. Please prepare your yellow paper. You will submit a photo of your essay to our group chat. There will be 4 essays. So you will answer all 4 questions. You will use your remaining time for this session. Essay number 1. You have just been assigned to teach a 5th grade class in a rural school where electricity is highly inconsistent and internet access is unavailable. Your upcoming lesson is about the different parts of a plant and their functions. Describe the specific non-digital materials you will develop for this lesson. Explain your step-by-step process for using these tools to ensure your students receive an engaging, high-quality learning experience without relying on technology. Essay number 2. It is the day of your final teaching demonstration. Your university or your college instructor and the school principal are sitting in the back of the room. You have prepared an intricate, highly interactive digital slideshow for your 8th grade history class. 5 minutes into your lesson, a sudden power outage occurs and completely shutting down the projector and your laptop. Walk through your immediate response. How do you seamlessly pivot and continue your lesson using only the chalkboard, flip charts, and physical presence to maintain classroom management and achieve your learning objectives? Essay number 3. You are teaching a grade 3 mathematics class focusing on basic fractions, one half, one third, and one fourth. You notice that while most of the class understands the colorful diagrams on your smart board, a small group of highly kinesthetic learners is completely lost and disengaged. Design a hands-on intervention activity using conventional instructional materials. What specific tangible tools would you create, and how would you use them to help these students bridge the gap between abstract numbers and concrete understanding? Okay, last essay, essay number 4. A newly hired co-teacher asks for your feedback on a set of instructional materials they created for grade 1 reading class. They proudly show you a set of flashcards that are relatively small, written in light pink cursive font, and heavily decorated with neon borders, glitter, and random cartoon stickers. Based on the 5 principles of developing conventional materials: simplicity, visibility, durability, interactivity, and relevance, write a polite but constructive critique of their work. How would you advise them to redesign these flashcards to ensure they are actually effective for first grade learners?